Yo, what's going on with y'all? It's your boy ConvoWMarlo. Today I got a special guest with me here today. Who do I have with me here today?
It's Yawa. Hi, everyone.
Miss Yawa in the cut. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm good. What's up?
You good? How was your day?
It's chill, just work.
Same old, same old?
Always.
What do you do for work?
So, I am a mental health support coordinator. Basically, what that means is I work for a nonprofit organization. So, this is a community based organization. So, people who need help in terms of like their mental health, my job is kind of to make that program happen and support people in the community with their mental health. Yeah.
Okay, so when you say mental health, because the way movie is stereotyped it, whenever you talk about mental health, you're crazy, you're running up walls, doing this and that. What is truly mental health?
So mental health looks different for different people, but essentially it's maintaining the well-being of your your mind essentially. So this is your emotions, this can be your feelings, this can be how you operate, how you function. But at the very basis, it's mentally how you can function at your best. So anything that hinders that, then you can stand to say your mental health has been affected, or you're suffering from mental health issues if it gets that far.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you think it could be, so it could really be almost anything. Something you suffer from a kid, a week ago, a car crash.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The important thing though is how it affects your ability to function. So, for example, if today I bomb my test or exam and I'm in my feelings, I'm sad. Um, that's not enough to say that I might have mental health issues, because I could get up the next day and be like, okay, you know what, that happened, I'm over it, da 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 da. But if that happens and I'm in my feelings, and then maybe something else happens that triggers me, and for the next week or 2-3 weeks I still can't get out of that place where I feel like I'm angry at everything that happened, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling anxious, when it stops me from doing things that I need to do, like going to school, going to work, studying for the next exam, talking to people around me, then it's a more serious issue. So it's okay, like, people need to understand it's okay to feel the things that might make up mental health issues. So like depression or anxiety, it's okay to be depressed for a day, if you bomb a test, or if you go through a breakup, or it's okay to feel anxious if you have the test coming up or a big interview coming up. But if those prolong past those events and it stops you from doing the things in your life that you need to get done, then like something's wrong.
Because when it comes to stuff like that, it's like, I notice a lot of people like to keep it to themselves. You know what I'm saying? You think with things like that, it's better to keep to yourself just because who are you? Why do you need to know what I got going on? Or is it like something you have to let it out? Keeping it bottled is just not good for you. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody has the answers to your problems.
Yeah. But it can just be something as simple like, okay, I had a bad day, I want to talk to someone about it. If I want to talk to you about it, it's not like, okay, Marky, I want you to give me the advice. What is the solution to this? It could be as simple as I want you to hear me out. Like, I want my feelings to be heard and validated by somebody. Not necessarily that I want you to give me the advice or how am I going to make this situation better. Sometimes all you need is just someone to say, yeah, I feel you, you're right, you're okay for feeling that way, type thing. I know for some people, like, I used to be like this and I'm still like working on it. I keep everything, like, I withdraw almost. Like, if I'm going through something, I want to figure it out like myself, type thing. So I'll just kind of withdraw from the situation. I won't talk to people about it. And hopefully, like, I get over the situation, which is not good. And I heard this analogy from like an older person, but for Black people, or I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I know for Black people, it's like, when you see the light come on your car, you need to take it to mechanic or something.
The check engine.
Yeah. But Black people, they wait till that car breaks down before taking it in. And it's the same thing with how we're feeling. Like, okay, I had a bad day, whatever, but Black people will wait until, or I don't want to speak for everybody, but some people will wait until they're completely like broken down or at their very end or lowest before they go and get help. And that's kind of like the danger with keeping things in, because when it builds up and you explode, when you could have kind of maybe taken that step earlier on and gotten that help, it could have changed how things played out. But it's easier said than done for a lot of people, including myself.
You think with that, there's a reason we tend to do something like that. We wait till very last minute, because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm the same way too, because it's like when it first happens, it's not that big. When it happens again, okay, whatever. Now when it becomes a pattern, it's happening on the regular, it's like by the time you hit your final breaking point, you're like, man, not like I should have probably checked someone about how many, you know.
Yeah. To be honest, I could not even, because even like right now, the windshield wiper on my car has been busted for I don't know how long. And it's like, it's fine. I can keep pushing back. I can keep pushing it back until like that thing flies off. And it's like, okay, damn, I need to go like get this fixed. But in terms of like why, I honestly don't have like a real proper answer, because again, it could be like there's also anxiety as a part of that. Because to think of, you know, calling someone to get help, having to sit down, having to talk to someone about like all your feelings and what's going on, it's long, right? So it could just be maybe just simple, easy to just keep it to yourself and hope things work out like for the best. It's a lot more comfortable that way, as opposed to, you know, going to talk to someone, going out of your way to find someone to talk to, because that's a lot more uncomfortable, and we tend to stay with things that are comfortable to us. You get?
With stuff like that, it's crazy, because for me, I feel like I can't speak to someone unless they look like me, if that makes sense. Like, for an example, let's say I'm looking for a therapist or something like that, and it's a non-colored individual. Like, what do you know? You know what I'm saying? Let's say I'm talking to you about police, or just something that only another African American male can relate to. How much advice can you really give me? I feel as though when you're looking for someone to talk to, most men, I should say, I don't really know that much. Most men, I feel as though we look for people that look like us. Like an older guy, or someone maybe roughly around our age. Because coming to a female about your type of problem, you feel as though they might belittle you. Or why am I going to a female when it comes to manly problems? Do you think that's another thing we run into?
Starting with like the person who looks like you, like already, like it's just something as simple as even walking into a room and you see another black person, it's like, oh, okay, calm, like, you know, I'm not the only black person in here type thing. Or even like as a girl, you go in and you see another girl, it's like, okay, calm. Already I can relate to you off of the fact that you're either a girl or you're black, or even like both. Like from there, it's like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. So now when you're taking something as serious as like your mental health, like issues that could even have stemmed from way back from when you were a kid that you don't like to talk about, like that you don't share with your friends or your family, or things that, you know, you keep inside, who you talk to is like so crucial. And it's a right to be picky about that, because that's gonna determine the way your healing and overcoming those issues goes. So coming back to the point of like someone that looks like you, like for example, back to my job where I work, or what I do is that we have like, you know, a mental health clinic that specifically has black therapists. So just having that in place helps so many people out, because like you said, certain things that you just don't have to explain, like being black, like, you know, how your parents might operate, or, you know, it's like, okay, why don't you just tell your parents this? And it's like, fam, like I'm African, or I'm Caribbean, like certain things like we just don't talk about. So having a black therapist, like you don't have to waste your little, you know, 1 hour, 30 minutes, or whatever you have your appointments, re-explaining those issues, because they can just understand. So that already sets the foundation of how that's gonna go. Now back to like what you said, some black men prefer female. Some black men like have no issue like speaking with a female, because they feel like that's, maybe there's less pressure there, because what their issues are could be emasculating or makes them feel like less of a man. So it might be harder to, you know, talk to another man about them, because it's like, oh, you know, I'm supposed to be a man, So maybe a female, you know, would be easier to talk to. But I know for other, like, you know, black males, they want to talk to a man because he's going to understand exactly what you're going through, in terms of maybe you have issues with a female, you have, you know, issues with police, or issues like at home, expectations of being a black man in society. Like only another black man is going to get that in the way that you want him to. So I think like when it comes to therapy, or it comes to, you know, talking to someone, who you talk to is 100% super important. And it's nice that now we're getting more, you know, black mental health professionals in place, because you can start your kids from young talking to someone that looks like them. And it might even be like your kid be like, oh, I want to be like that when I grow up, because they see someone in that position. So I think having more of these people in the community, or like in the black community in general, goes a long way.
Wow. I tried the therapist thing out, and at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of skeptical about it, because like I'm going to a stranger. I'm going to a stranger about everything. But I was feeling some sense of relief when it came to it. But it came to a point where it's like, I feel like you're just reading everything. Like me, I wanted to feel as though if I'm talking to you, I want to speak to you. I don't want to speak to you and then you reply to me off whatever's in front of you, piece of paper. I want to have a genuine conversation. I just give myself a pat on my back because I at least gave it a try. But it's just that specific lady. She's doing a good job, but that specific lady just wasn't for me because it just felt scripted. It didn't feel. She would ask me about something, we'd talk about it, and then she would say, "Okay, so why do you think you feel like that?" And just you can just tell when someone is reading something. You know what I'm saying? It was just it just didn't feel genuine to me. But at the same time, I get it. There's this IG, this dude on IG that I follow. He said it took him at least 7 tries until he found the right one. And for me, maybe that might be the issue. Maybe I might have to just keep on searching far and wide. Eventually I'll get to one. But it's just for the time being. Right now it's just, I just have certain people that I talk to, like friends and some family members. But what I wanted to ask you is, growing up as a black kid, a majority of us get whooped for doing bad stuff, right? What I wanted to ask you is, can you really go to your parents about your issues? No, obviously they won't hit you now at your grown age, but like, do you feel as though that's someone you can go to for advice?
To be honest, now I could probably say for sure. Like I'm kind of lucky in the sense that like my parents are like super. Let me not say super, but they're more liberal than maybe other people or how they were before. Meaning like, they kind of get like what I go through now. Like they kind of understand. Like my dad, he knows about like mental health issues. He knows about things like depression and addiction and whatever. So if I was having like an issue, I could probably go to him. The only thing is I might not get like an answer like the way that I want. And the thing about like my dad specifically is, once he's in your business, he's in your business. So
yeah, that's false.
Once he's in your business, he's in your business. So it could be like just that day, you know, I want to talk about it, and then, you know, I'll figure it out by myself. Thanks for listening. But he'll be like following up and checking, and I don't blame him, like, because, you know, he's a dad, like that's what he wants to do for his kids. But at least with, you know, like a therapist, it's like, okay, I can talk to you this time of week, and then I can go on my own, and I can come back to you. But like talking to your parents, it's like he's gonna be on your neck about, you know, like how did this go, did you follow up, or he'll be over worrying when it's not necessary. So now now we're both stressed out. So but if I needed to approach him like for something like serious, like I could definitely.
That's exactly how it is with my dukes. With my mom, I'll tell her something that should be about this big, and it just turns into something like families in Haiti dying. You know what I'm saying? Just unnecessary things that have nothing to do with anything. That's why I feel as though sometimes it's not the best to go to your parents. You know what I'm saying? Off that topic now, recently you hosted a Black mental health thing. What?
Did I? You jogged my memory.
Recently, we did that video.
Oh, you talking about the video? Okay. I thought
what do you think I was talking about?
Like an event or something. Like I've been gone. What you talking about?
No. You hosted that a little bit ago, and what I really liked about it is how when you're in your zone, you're in your zone. You know what I'm saying? What was the reasoning for all that, and how did you pick the people that you picked?
Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, that video is to promote like the therapy clinic I was talking about. Because I kind of found like once I started working there that a lot of people, like people that should be knowing about it, don't know about it. So what we tried to do, or what I wanted to do, was kind of create like a promotional video to have people talking, one, about the clinic, what it entails, you know, who works there. And then also people that may have used the clinic or used therapy or their experience with like mental health. So that's kind of like the reasoning behind it. And it turned out really well. Like I got to see the clips the other day and I was really happy with it. And then when it came to picking like people, like obviously it was strategic, you know, we weren't picking people like randomly, but we really wanted to pick, you know, like have different types of Black people, so, you know, people of different shades that look different, because the more diversity you have in there, the more people like can relate. So we had, you know, like a family in there because the clinic does family therapy. You know, we had the older Black male because, you know, it caters to everybody, young and old. And we got like you specifically, because one of the things is like not to be stereotypical, but you're kind of like, you're not the type of person people would think would be in therapy, and I mean that respectfully. Like, you know, you got the dreads, like the way you look as a black male wouldn't be the type of black male people would think would be in therapy. So like, you know, if other black males see that, it's like, okay, calm, like, or even this podcast, people know from this podcast, like, yo, if Marky's using therapy, like, okay, let me check it out. Yeah, type thing. So, like, just picking, like, certain people from different niches. You know, we had, like, one guy, you know, who's a university student. A lot of university students, like, speaking from experience, like, we be going through it when it comes to, like, mental health. So, in terms of, like, the type of people we wanted in the video, we kind of, like, wanted to hit, like, the different niches of people that should be kind of, at least if you're not using the therapy, you should know about the therapy, because then you can talk about it in your circles or like to whoever you think might benefit from it.
Wow. What I really liked about it is I got to hear other people, like the other people that were there. I got to hear them how they think about this. And it's crazy because it's like, wow, you really thought like that? Or you had it like that? It's always the ones that look the most calm, the most cool, calm, and collected, that always have the most going on.
Oh yeah.
I forgot what one of the dude's name was, the chubbier dude that was laughing a lot. Like this guy was just talking. I was like, yo, he was very intellectual with the shit he was saying. I mean, no diss, but he didn't seem like, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think so.
No, but basically with all that, what I'm trying to say is, I like it. It's bringing awareness. It's bringing more people. And exactly what you said, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I know exactly what you mean when you say I don't look like the type that's gonna be in that. Cause this is when I knew my friends were just tunnel vision. They are, or not tunnel vision, they're just so closed minded. When I was bringing it up to them, Yawa or Kojo's sister was telling me, or brought this thing up to me, and I'm really thinking about doing it. What do y'all think? What? You want people to think you're crazy? Yeah. You know, niggas just always have things to add on to it. But like when I got there, I just felt so free, letting it off my mind about this, about that. It was just nice, you know, and like nobody's judging you. And I feel like that's the most important thing, having black people in a spot where they won't feel judged.
Exactly, not judgmental. Yeah, because the thing with your friends, obviously, you know, they could go, they'll tell you they're not gonna judge you, but see something as simple like, I kind of want to try, like, you know, therapy. Like, what? Are you crazy? Like, are you mental? And like, nah, I don't. And the thing is, I don't blame them, because like, depending on how you're raised, or like for a lot of like black people, like we have a lot of work to do in terms of moving forward in mental health. So when people have those sentiments or those thoughts or that mentality about, like, it was only recently like that my parents, or, you know, maybe some other like people in my circles kind of thought differently. And even myself, like there was a time like where I was going through stuff, and I'm a psych major, so I knew about, like, you know, all these mental health issues, and I still didn't go see nobody, even though like I was going through it. So like, it's not even enough to be aware of it, like, or to even just like know what's going on, like, even though I knew, like, you know, I can go see a therapist or I can go see a counselor, like I still didn't, and I was going through like a really like rough time. So it's like, damn, we got a lot of like work to do in terms of getting people to feel comfortable like using therapy. But like the more you use it and the more you talk about it, like for example what you do with your friends, like maybe for one of them it might click, like, yo, Marky kind of mentioned this like this time, maybe I'll ask him about it. So even that like is dope.
Do you feel like with what you did or what you had going on that day with that with us making that video, did you learn anything from it? Did you gain anything from it? Was there anything to be gained from it? Oh
yeah, I think seeing how like eager people are to talk about like mental health, like boom, sit them down, ask them these questions, like it's not like that scary of a topic actually, once you put people in the right environment, you know, make them feel comfortable, like let them know, like, you know, this is just like a conversation. And once they start talking about like their mental health or what they go through, it's just like a simple like conversation. And I think like that's where we should like all like get to. So if I hit you up like, yo Marky, how you feeling today, like you should feel comfortable, like to be honest it's not a good day, like I'm really in my head, da 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 da, or vice versa, like it's a really good day, like, you know, like I did this and this. So like seeing how comfortable people actually can be, like, you know, talking about their mental health, given like, you know, they're in a safe space, like, you know, they're talking to people that they can trust, is like a testament to how good like therapy or counseling or like mental health as a conversation can be if we make it that way.
So would it be the same way to approach a woman that's going through depression the same way as you would approach a man? Would the approach be the same?
To be honest, I don't think gender can play a role, but it more depends like on the situation. So what is the cause like of the depression? Like there's so many different factors that play a role. Gender, yes, but I think the situation aspect is more of a determining factor than maybe gender or maybe age, because once you start looking at like gender and approaching things differently, like it might hinder like the treatment. So first you want to look at like the person like as they are, not like, okay, is he a man or a female or da 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 da. Where you get differences though is like ages, and then also like the conditions. So there's definitely different ways to approach people with depression versus people with anxiety versus people with OCD versus people with BPD, which is like bipolar disorder. OCD is like, obsessive compulsive disorder. So the different types of issues that they're facing is going to determine the type of treatment that you use. As for gender specifically, I wouldn't think it's that big of a difference. I could be wrong, I could be mistaken, but what I know is like the type of situation that the person is coming from. So for example, anxiety from domestic abuse might be different from, anxiety from a fear or from a phobia type thing. So the situations that cause the disorders can determine the different types of approaches that you would use for each person.
Sheesh. So, as a black man or a black male, I already know like the type of struggles black men run into. What are some of the struggles that black females run into, black women go, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously I know we have those 1-2 similarities, like maybe we walk into a store and suddenly eyes are on us. But what are some of the things that y'all run into that we don't?
I think, to be honest, it might be different for everybody. Like I know like a big thing for myself and some people around me is like imposter syndrome.
What's that?
So basically it's like feeling like you're like a fraud or like you're not good enough, even though like you have like the qualifications for exactly what you're doing. So for example, like maybe if I was doing this podcast, I would feel like, oh my god, my podcast is like trash, like it's not good enough, like I'm a fraud. Like people when people give me compliments, I'm like, nah, like I can't take that because I'm not actually as good as, or I don't think I'm as good as they're telling me to be. And this is like black women also like try to work harder to feel like they deserve, like where they are type thing. But as a man, like it might be easier for men because you're already getting that validation that like you deserve to be here. Where women, it's like when you get compared to a man, like a man might always win out in that situation. So for women and black women too, because not only are you black, one, so you already got that set up against you, and then two, you're a woman, so it's like a lot easier to feel like invalidated and to feel like you're not good enough in certain like situations or in certain areas, even though you are. So I think that's one thing, probably the biggest thing. In terms of anything else, I feel like black women might be like the most, maybe not the most, but under a lot of like scrutiny, like in terms of like, okay, anything you do as a black woman is like being watched, whether it's like your hair, like the way you come up with your hair, like maybe your body, the way you speak, like people are ready to push those stereotypes onto you. So sometimes you gotta be like, okay, I want to prove these people, even though you don't owe people an explanation, but it's like, okay, I don't want to fall into that box. I'm scared of like being labeled this and this, because people are so ready just to be like, okay, she's already loud, okay, she's already ratchet, okay, she's already ghetto, she's already this, she's already that type thing. So I feel like it's gotten like a little bit like, better in terms of like where it used to be before, like when I was like growing up compared to now. But I just feel like as a black woman, people are so ready to like to talk on me, compared to maybe some other people.
It's crazy because with that type of thing, what I think about is black women are always talked down upon, but yet the gay men, Spanish women, they from what I've heard, they like to act like black women. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that's true? Have you ever seen any occasions where
I wouldn't even like specify that, but I think black culture in a whole, like in general, people like to pick and choose like stuff from black culture that they like. So even like the way that like you talk, like the slang that you use, someone that isn't black or someone that would have no business talking like that is talking like that because it's cool, right? Or the way that you dress, the way you got your hair, or the way like maybe the music that black people make, people would take that because is cool and it's hip and it's, you know, whatever, it's fresh, da 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 da. So I wouldn't even specify like no specific people, but I think in general, like people can pick and choose like from Black culture, like what they like and what they want to emulate, but like leave the things that they don't like, you know, about Black people, which is like, you know, our skin color or, you know, the other stereotypes like, oh, Black men, you know, they're aggressive and they're rude and in the ghetto and this, that. But I think, yeah, in general, as a whole, like Black culture period is like people pick it apart and take the stuff that they like and use that for however they want.
What was your, I assume you spent a decent amount of years here in Edmonton.
Oh yeah.
what was your upbringing like? You know what I'm saying? Was it
as like a Black girl?
Yeah.
Growing up as a Black girl here, to be honest, it was like a period where, you know, people like did not rate Black girls, even maybe I'm speaking for myself. As a Black girl, I didn't rate Black girls. Like I wanted to be white. I wanted to be, like I didn't want to be, you know, associated like Black people. I didn't really like being Black, to be honest. So that was like junior high, even like beginning of high school. Like, I used to go by the name Alora, which is like my middle name. Yeah, my middle name. Yeah, so it wasn't until like maybe second year of high school that I started to go by like Yawa more, and I started to, you know, gain more like Black friends and like actually find, pride in like being Black. But then even in high school, you know, you were getting dissed by the Black guys. Actually, a lot of the hate came from Black guys.
Low-key, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I wasn't a part of it, but I know exactly
you know
what
I'm
you're
talking about.
Yeah.
So coming from the Black guys, so like being a Black girl is like you gotta fend for yourself, like 24/7 type thing. I mean, it built my character a little bit because now if you give me one, I'll give you two. Like we can go back and forth. We can run it if you want, but it was definitely like people never let you forget that you were a Black girl, like no matter what type thing.
I'd go through the same, well, not that type of stuff, but I go through the same type shit where it's like first day of school, they check the board, they see my government, so they're expecting a white boy. I pull up and they look behind me like, do you know where Marcus is? You know what I'm saying? But it's me. And I just run into the typical, let's say we're about to watch a movie in class, the lights turn off.
Yeah, they're looking
Mario, where'd you go? I see your eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like how you said that because low key, I remember I had a point where I was like, I think my life would be a little bit easier if I was just white.
Oh yeah.
And niggas would always have, not niggas, but like white people would always have man, I think you look better if you look like this. Or maybe if your skin was just a little bit lighter, or if you was white, I think you'd look better. And I'd low key let that get to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, more to like junior high days, I started like really loving myself, learning about my people, etc. And I really regret letting them get to me. I wish I had the knowledge I had today back then, so I could just give it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
No, definitely, like, especially like when I was like in elementary and I was like in junior high, I was like in elementary, I know I was like the only Black kid, like maybe besides my sisters, there was maybe 2-3 other Black kids in that school, and they were even mixed. So already 1 week, like we were the only like Black kids, so I was surrounded by, you know, white kids, so whatever they did, I did type thing. And like, you know, my parents, they didn't really understand because where they came from, everybody's like Black, everybody's African, so they don't really get that, you know, I'm being influenced by, you know, other people type thing. And not seeing like other Black people around me, there was really no incentive to be Black. Like I didn't see nothing good about being Black. You get? So when white people are doing this or telling me this, is like, okay, I believe in, like, I want to be white, or I want to be as far from Black as possible type thing. Or even like, you know, certain jokes that were made, like I would just laugh because, you know, like, you know, I just wanted to fit in, or like I wanted to, you know, get along with everybody type thing. And again, there was no incentive, like there was nothing for me to be proud of or to defend from being Black, because I never seen that. So that was like junior high. But then in high school, like again, when I started learning more about the culture and seeing like, okay, you know, being Black is actually like having more Black friends, like finding out like what it actually means, and then seeing like even like how Black culture has like, I don't want to say taken over, but I've been more tapped into it. So like, you know, the music and the different like influences I see. So like someone like Normani, like who's just like, you know, she's just fire. She, you know, looks good.
Is that the tennis player?
No, Serena Williams. I'm talking Normani, like she's like a singer. She's just someone that I follow on Instagram. But seeing like other black people, you know, like doing well, like is like damn, like it makes you feel like happy as well, like to be black. Like especially like growing up when you didn't have that. So like as a high school girl, like you want to see more, like, you know, black women doing this and looking good, and, you know, getting their flowers, and it makes you feel like, because you can relate and like they represent you in some sort of way. So yeah.
The last thing I wanted to add to that, like back to like being in elementary, another thing that just came to me out of nowhere was another thing I hated in elementary. I forgot, we was watching a documentary. It was
I think I know where you're going with this. I know exactly where you're going.
It was something about black people. I don't know why we're watching this in grade 5, 6. We're watching a documentary, and then
they mentioned slaves.
The N-word came up, the ER.
Oh.
So when that part came on, there was a whole sentence, and the second last word was the N-word. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, the computer just froze.
Oh my god.
The computer just froze, and we was watching on a projector, so it's showing up on the whole wall. And as soon as the computer froze, you hear everybody's neck just staring at me. Everyone's staring at me. I'm like, bro, come on, y'all know I'm not a nigger, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's those little things that would really get to you, like, man, is it even worth it being black? Like, why do I have to go those little microaggression shit?
And especially when you're the only black, because I remember the same thing happened. They're in grade 4, I think. We're talking about slaves, how black people, and you're the only black person in the class.
Oh my god!
Like, so this is what a slave looks like.
It is like, it's like, do you think I'm a slave? Like I have just as much rights. Well, I should have just as much rights as you. Why?
No, that's
I hated that.
They would have been thinking. So you just like, I remember just looking straight ahead, like not trying to like look at anybody. But
you wanna know what I did? When they look back, I look back too. I'm trying to see what everybody's looking at. Nah, yo. I hated that. That shit would irritate, and you feel it like it's building up in your stomach, like it's coming.
Run out of the like, you just want to dive into the ground. Like honestly, yeah, no, I remember them months.
I had last thing, I wasn't really cool with this dude at the time, and it was him and these 2 other white boys in construction class. The white boy called me the N-word, and I told him, okay, cool. When we go outside, because at lunchtime is when we go outside.
Yeah,
we gonna fight. I tried to fight the nigga. And the bigger friend came out and tried to defend him. So we just pushed in, and then finally someone stopped it. The nigga ended up throwing a snowball at me. So I started fighting. And the homie that called me a nigga was behind him.
Oh, wow.
Calling me it still as I'm fighting his friend in front.
Oh, wow.
But a few years later, like literally about 2 years ago, when that whole BLM protest was going on in our city,
yeah.
He sent me a DM apologizing.
Oh, about that situation?
About that whole thing. Damn. Like he sent me a DM apologizing about defending someone that said it. Oh. He didn't say he was defending someone that said it.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, oh wow, you know, it takes a lot of heart to do that. But then it hit me. He's only doing it because of this whole BLM thing that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't going on, would he have said it?
Yeah, he would have said it.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a lot of these little things I like to think about, like, who are you when it's time to be you, exactly. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
In the black community, what are some of the barriers that we face against each other, like black men and black women?
I think, like we mentioned, like that growing up thing, like when black men were on, you know, black girls for like, you know, the way they looked, and just like constantly dissing. Even though it's gotten better now, actually, like, cause like one of the things that I used to be like, that stuck with me for a long time after that actually was like kind of getting into like relationships or something like that. Like the first thing you think when you see like, you know, a black guy that maybe is like attractive, like damn, does he like black girls type thing. Like,
wow.
Yeah,
that's how I was.
Oh yeah, up until
Sheesh.
Some time ago actually, because you're so used to black guys just like dissing like black girls, unless you're light skinned. But like as a dark skinned black girl, the first thing like you would even think before like, okay, he's cute, does he like black girls?
Wow.
And then you just take your L. Oh my bad. You would just take your L if he didn't like black
girls. How do you find that out? If he fucks with black girls,
like
or
you
not?
could ask him, ask his friends, like there was ways of finding out, but like, and it was just normal. Like if he didn't like black girls, you just take your L and you go on. Like it was just like, oh, well, he doesn't like black girls, nothing I do, and you move on type thing. Like it was just like standard. But like now it's different now type thing. Like you can usually tell, like, you know, like there's a black guy that does not like black girls, like they usually look a certain way type thing. So
so how come when a black guy is with a white girl, he's frowned upon, he's everything. But when it's vice versa, a black girl with a white man, black queen, you know
So
what I'm saying?
I don't want to generalize, but typically, like when a black man would, like, you know, go with like a white girl or whatever, like, I don't want to generalize again, but typically, like, that black man would be dissing, like, you know, black women type thing. So that's like the same thing, like, oh, does he like black girls? You would ask that first. It's like, nah, he only likes white girls because he thinks black girls are ghetto, da 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 da. And I don't want to generalize that, like, from everybody, but like back then that was typically the thing. Like you would talk down or you would like diss like black women, da da da. But now it's like different. Like you can have like your preferences and like still respect, like, you know, black women. That's calm. Like that's completely fine. Like everyone's allowed their preferences, but it's like where your preference is coming from. Like if you only like black women because you, or white women because you think, or any other race of women because you think black women are this, and this, or like some negative stereotypes, then no, that's not correct. But if you prefer, you know, this race, but you would still be okay with like this race, then like that's contact thing. But it's like you gotta check yourself first, like where your preferences like coming from type thing. So someone can say, you know, I prefer black women because I kind of like I grew up like around black women, you know, I think, you know, a black woman would relate to me more, da 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 da. So that's kind of why I want to date a black woman. But you know, like if I got to know somebody else and, you know, we clicked and we vibe, you know, I'd be open to that too. Like that's like a safe thing to say. But if you're coming to say like, okay, I like this type of woman because this other type of woman is this, and this, and those are negative stereotypes or things that are baseless, they don't have any type of validity to them, then it's like that's when you're reaching that gray area type thing.
Sheesh. Do you think POC unity is real? Come on.
In a real world, in a perfect world, yes, it would be, you know, we would have your POC type of people all together. But from some of the things I've seen, it's usually black people against like everybody else, or even because I know like when you go to like when I was in Egypt or whatever, there was, you know, obviously a different race of people there. Like they're racist like to black people there. Like I've experienced, that was my first time experiencing racism. Actually, was like when I was over there. Not to generalize, but to say that POC solidarity is real is a little bit naive, because in a perfect world, obviously that's what we would want, but we see that's not the case. There's anti-black racism in multiple races, and this is just a fact. Like, and most people from like other races, like if you ask them, okay, what does your family think about black people? Da 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 da. Even though they might not, like they can definitely say that, oh, my family or this person in my family, you know, doesn't rate black people or thinks this of black people. So it's really hard to advocate or to sit here and say it's real when that's the reality of like what's going on. So I don't want to talk on specific groups of people, but like you can easily go up to someone that's not black and say, what does your family think about, you know, black people type thing, and they're gonna tell you some things that probably aren't so nice, and that's just the fact of the matter, because anti-black, you know, sentiments have been around since maybe the beginning of time, since black people were even, you know, seen as people. So it's not nothing new, to be honest. And I don't know what it's gonna take for it to go away, but like it's just the fact of the matter that most people or most other groups of people that aren't black have some type of anti-black sentiments like within their social circles.
Damn.
Yeah.
How come with these issues you seem to be so passionate about it? You know what I'm saying? Like you really, I could tell these are the type of things you just do your homework on when it comes to like our people type of stuff.
It's because of like that whole like junior high school like scenario. So once, you know, you come from a place where like you don't like being who you are, to actually liking to being like, you know, black and just like that, it kind of worked out well, because it's like, okay, I kind of found like, you know, pride in being black myself. So now it's like I hold on to that, like you can't take that away from me type thing. So like seeing like pride and being like a black woman, or, you know, being African, or being, you know, surrounded by other black people, like once you find that out for yourself, it's kind of like when you like if you're buying, like you drive a motorcycle or whatever, if you work for that money and you buy that yourself, if you're gonna take care of that like with your life, because you know the value that goes into that motorcycle. So it's kind of the same thing with like building up pride in who I am. I kind of like, you know, bought that myself, so now I take care of it like nobody's business type thing. So that's kind of why I do like my research, where I invest my time in like certain things, because if maybe like that had been around for me like when I was like, you know, younger, growing up, like more invested, like I feel like my life would have been like completely different. But now that I know it now that I'm like super proud of like being black and African and, you know, black woman, da 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 da, it's like I can use that to, you know, help other people maybe that are like on the fence or like don't like who they are, that kind of thing.
Do you know who Dr. Umar Johnson is?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on a nigga like that?
Have you seen him on Twitter? I don't know too much because everything I see is memes.
Oh,
so I don't know
his thoughts.
Yeah, his actual like. I just be seeing like. I know he's super pan-African, like he just like, wants black people to unite and believes in like black supremacy, But I only see his videos and his pictures used as like memes. Yeah.
So you haven't really watched any
like his serious
like
work? Yeah, no, I haven't.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Why is it? You feel like you wouldn't really gain much interest in him, or you just don't have the time?
No, because I see him as memes, so I just don't take it serious.
No, I know. Sometimes the internet just be ruining certain things. So you know when you're just on TikTok or you hear the same voices something and then when you hear the real version it's not serious.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, who's the weakest link?
Where?
Weakest link in the community,
in the black community?
Yeah. Who's the weakest link
between black men and black women? I'm gonna say black men. Like, you know, I'm
why,
gonna say black women.
Why shitting
like,
on
you know,
why is that?
What would you say? You would say black men or black women?
I'm asking you the questions.
And I give my answer. Well, honestly, I'm biased because I'm a black woman, so I'm not gonna say black women are the weak links when I'm a black woman. I'm not gonna say I'm a weak link. So I would say, but to be honest, I don't think it's like, you know, one or the other. I think in certain situations, like some black, like obviously I love being a black woman and I'm gonna support black women, but there's some black women that just don't make sense. And the same thing's for some black men. I love seeing black men succeed and do well and, you know, shine in every aspect, but there's some black men that just don't make sense. So I wouldn't generalize and say, you know, black men are the weak link or black women are the weak link.
So when you say don't make sense, you mean like the thought process just pisses you off?
Yeah, there's just some things that they say or do that just like, what are you talking about? Like from both sides, they just like don't make sense. So obviously, as a black woman, I'm gonna support, you know, if you're black, but once one sense has left the equation, I gotta leave too. Like it's just not enough to be black. You gotta be making sense too. So. Yeah, I wouldn't say one or the other. I would say it definitely depends like on the situation.
So I'm guessing from the way you're speaking, you're not a big fan of interracial relationships.
Oh no,
not at all.
No, I'm saying like I'm like if that's you, then I'm a big fan. Yeah.
Yo, keep it 100.
Yeah.
If a black man's with a white woman walking down the street, you do a double take.
You
do a double take.
But I would do the same thing if it was a black girl with like a white man too. Like I would just like.
Would you really?
Oh yeah, no, just to see what going on. But it's not like as long as the black man is not sitting there bashing like black women, there's absolutely no issue.
It's fine.
But once I start hearing talks of you're saying black women are this and this, now I know something's wrong with you. Yeah. So.
What do you think? I just have a few more questions and I'm gonna wrap it up. Do you think there's an issue between African descent and diasporas?
Sometimes.
Because my bad, I just gotta add this on. Y'all are sellouts.
Who the diaspora?
No, that like
the Africans.
Y'all are sellouts.
You saying African people are sellouts?
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Actually, say what you gotta say first. let me hear what you have to say first.
So wait, let me just clarify. Like African descent, like people from Africa versus because. Even though I'm African, I'm still part of the diaspora. Diaspora is, you know, anyone that's not from, like, you know, their continent. So
did I say it wrong? Is it not diaspora?
Diaspora. I say diaspora, but it might be diaspora. But I'm a part of the diaspora. My family is a part of the any South Sudanese person here is a part of any black person actually in this Canada. You're a part of the diaspora. So you two, you're part of the diaspora.
Because what I'm talking about is like the Africans that sold out the other blacks and then the blacks that got sent out
like talking about
way
slavery?
Out there. Yeah.
Oh, to be honest, I can't talk on that too much. I saw something actually on TikTok the other day, but the thing was low-key long, so I didn't watch it. But I don't know too much about like the Atlantic slave trade and, you know, who sold who and from where and stuff like that. So I can't talk too much on that.
I like that. I like how like if you actually don't know too much about something, you don't dwell into it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The last thing I want to ask you is, what is a healthy black relationship?
Good question.
What is it?
Like you mean between like, you know, like a man and a woman type thing?
Anything.
Like, you know,
anything.
Healthy black relationship? So I can't really talk too much from experience, but ideally what that would look like is like there's a level of connection there type thing. So like, you know, you understand where I'm coming from as a black woman, and I understand where you're coming from, like, as a black man type thing. There's, like, a certain level of mutual respect. Like, you'll never, like, talk down on each other type thing. There's a certain type of, like, ambition, like, for both of you. So it's not selfish. Like, you're looking out for yourself, but you're looking out for the best interest, like, of the other person too. And just certain things that you do that would always benefit, like, your partner, that would never put them in harm's way or put them, like, you know, at stake type thing. And then also, like, compassion, respect, kindness type thing, being gentle with, like, the person that you're with. So, like, nothing like, you know, don't be raising your voice, you know, don't be calling them out their name, you know, being disrespectful, like, making them feel a type of way, or, you know, making other people look at them like, damn, like, oh, I wish they knew this, or like, damn, that can never be me type thing, you know, always putting them in a position where they can, like, you know, feel proud to be like your partner type thing. Or just even in friendships in general, like, all the things that I mentioned, like, still stand, like, the mutual respect, kindness, compassion, etc type thing.
Okay. Well, that's everything I gotta ask you. Is there anything you want to ask me before I wrap this all up?
No, thanks for having me.
You know what I'm saying?
Fun.
I'm gonna be having you on again soon in a little bit.
I'll be here.
Okay, it's your boy ConvoWMarlo.
It's Yawa here.
And I'm out.